What are you going to give for your teammates today? What are you going to put on the line?
Oregon-Washington is one of the biggest rivalries in college football. It's an honor to play in a game like this.
We're just trying to cause havoc. It's a dogfight.
Our offense, we're savages.
Two unbeaten teams, we definitely know the significance of it.
I anticipate Husky Stadium being revved up for this one.
There's no love lost here, right? Washington, Oregon has always meant a lot.
And y'all know what time it is, baby.
In this spectacular Seattle setting, the banks of Union Bay, it's Husky Stadium. Oregon versus Washington has never been neighborly. It's always been bitter, and it's never been bigger. The Ducks and the Dogs collide for the first time ever as top 10 teams. Welcome to ESPN's Afternoon College Football on ABC in this presentation of the Pac-12 on ESPN. It is part of Avocados from Mexico Tailgate Week. Since Dark 30, this place has been fired up and ready for this biggest ever Oregon-Washington game. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe will join us. Man, we've been hearing how bitter this thing is, but more importantly, it's significant. These two teams are just beginning a race in the rugged Pac-12. We think they're the most complete teams in the conference. They think they can each win the league and get to the playoff, but they've never been in each other's way quite like today, Kirk.
Yeah, the buildup of this is everything you'd hope for. One had to overcome some issues on the field, the other off the field. All those injuries, it really has hardened him, and right now he's executing as well as any quarterback in the country, and I would argue he's got the best group of wide receivers in college football.
Beware of the Dogs indeed. They are a defensive nightmare for opponents. These Huskies went to Eugene and pulled off a dramatic comeback victory behind Michael Penix Jr. Ducks have not forgotten that, not for a single day, they say, since that home loss a year ago. Washington and Oregon. Sit back and enjoy this from the bedlam of Husky Stadium. Kickoff coming up.
Oregon and Washington is a brawl.
And if you think about Dan Lanning, we showed before this drive started, challenging that offensive line, all that emotion, used 2 of his own timeouts, basically put all the chips in the middle of the table, knowing that this series and this drive could be it for this game.
DeBoer may spend a timeout, Kirk, here if they can make a stop and force a 3rd and long. We'll see.
They'll have to.
Irving again. Nowhere to run, but he finds space anyway. Somehow squirts free, gets within a couple of yards of the first down. How did he do that?
Yeah, there are 2 defenders right there. I thought Hampton would make the play there. Both defenders, you talk about leveraging the football right there. You've got him, right? Lateral quickness and strength. Not only makes those 2 miss, he shakes off 2 more defenders. This is the game right here. He just wants one more chance.
Jordan James is tough to tackle himself. He's in the ball game. It's directing. James has it, slipped, and they stop him. He'll lose yardage. There was a little bit of confusion, Kurt, and he lost his footing on the cut.
But Ale, I think, blows this play up anyway. Watch him right here. And we haven't seen this a lot, but he's able to slip off of that block by Stephen Jones. So even if he doesn't lose his footing, give Washington credit for getting off of blocks and slipping a gap there and get into that backfield. Penetration blows that play up. So they used their last time out, and Penix, in fact, will get his hands on the football with a chance to win this game.
Really?
I think so. By the way, the Oregon.
I mean, maybe Lanning just goes for it and kills the game right here. I mean, he said we're an aggressive team.
He's been aggressive all game. You're right. But you don't.
You know what the quarterback's lobbying for.
I love it.
Look,
wow. He's been consistent. If nothing else, he's been consistent the entire game.
I mean, this is a longer attempt than the 3rd down was. No more timeouts from Washington. A first down here should do it for the Ducks. Nix can also pooch punt. Keep in mind that's part of his arsenal. He's done it quite often in his career. Rolls out. They're going to throw for it. Incomplete. Huskies take over. This gamble does not pay off. And Penix will have a chance to win it.
Give credit to Powell right here as the motion comes over. Keep your eye on this defender taking away the potential threat because he keeps outside leverage. He wants to throw this ball out here, but look at the defender taking that throw away. Really good job there.
Reaction from Lanning, kind of stoic. Again, you could have sent the punter out. Maybe the Huskies are back at the 10-yard line. Instead, at the 47. Need to find the end zone. Don't have a timeout, but plenty of time. Penix backpedals, goes right downfield into traffic. It's Polk with a leaping catch at the 16. 34 yards. Now they got to slow it down, right?
Right. Spatial awareness to buy time in the pocket, and the accuracy once again. We saw it in the first quarter, haven't seen it since. What a throw. And what a catch here on the other side by Polk between the corner and the safety. Safety got over late. Watch this safety right here, just a little bit late in reacting. Evan Williams, just enough for him to sneak that in as Williams got over late.
He wasn't open. He just trusted his playmaker, huh?
I think he sensed that Williams got a late break to get to that part of the field. So by the time he got there, he couldn't locate the football. Penix got it out early to allow Polk a chance to adjust.
It's first down, still a minute 48. If you're the Huskies, you want to take a little time before you score.
Game clock now starts.
Launching for the end zone. Forget being patient. Odunze! And Washington takes the lead. My goodness, what a 1-2 punch from Penix. But will they regret scoring so quickly, Kurt?
I'm enjoying the scene, right? Just take it in for all it's worth. But that was my first thought, is 2 plays. Now you gave Bo Nix a minute 38. They're going to go for the extra point here to go up by 3.
I mean, sometimes a lightning strike, big play offense isn't exactly what you need. They had to get a touchdown, which they did. But they did it in 2 plays in 33 seconds.
Yeah, generally, when you see a safety on the hash here, he's there to protect against a threat into the corner. Here, Evan Williams, all the action goes right. He takes a couple steps to his left, and that's just a quarterback trusting one of the best receivers in college football. Looks off to safety, puts it up, hopes that his guy can adjust. Remember, that's a backup corner in the game for Florence. They go after him again. Ball is thrown to that back shoulder where he can adjust. Bridges never locates the ball, and the Huskies in 2 plays are on the board for the lead.
Odunze continues to be almost unfair at the college level, and Michael Penix Jr. throws his touchdown pass, and Ryan Grubb, old Coach Grubb, who was a strength coach back at Sioux Falls, right? Versus where DeBoer got his start.
Hey, put on your seatbelt, boys. We got a minute 38, and Oregon still has a timeout. All they need is a field goal to send this thing into overtime.
They were not at all conscious of using the clock, of taking away some of this time for Oregon, and you do wonder, Gary Bryant Jr. will let this one go. They'll just spot. Touchdown of the game. 8 catches for 128. Here we go. Bo Nix trying to engineer another game-winning drive. Play clock at 3. They just get the snap off. Nix just kind of throws it away. The pressure was coming. Did not want to take a sack there. And now with 4 seconds, Here comes Cam Lewis to try to send us to overtime.
That play didn't look good from the beginning.
Lewis, dead center, kept it right there from 42. Missed it! And the Huskies survive! Lewis is consoled, and the field is stormed, and Washington has won it. 36-33. A classic in the first ever top 10 collision in this rivalry.
Yeah, what a game. Congratulations to both these teams. The Huskies finding a way to get it done. It did look great late. They never gave up. They kept battling, and Kalen DeBoer's got to be incredibly proud of his team finding a way to win.
Michael Penix Jr., 4 touchdown passes. Here's Holly with Kalen DeBoer.
We just know we got to keep fighting and keep playing and just keep believing. We're built for this. We said it before the game. If it comes close, we'll find a way to win.
Michael Penix made an unbelievable throw. Rome Odunze a catch. What did you see with that pair?
They went one-on-one. Mike identified it and gave a little check to Rome and let him go to work.
They get the ball back with 1:38 to play. What's your thoughts on that last drive as you're waiting to see what happens?
Yeah, I know with their offense, that's a lot of time, you know, and so it's going to take a big stop for us. And, man, I'm just proud of the way our guys kept playing and playing and playing and got the stop at the end.
You told your guys in the locker room at the half, we're built for this. How do you think they are now, Coach?
Yeah, we are. We've been tested many times, and we just know how we're going to respond. There's a lot of trust in each other, and that's what it comes down to.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Husky defense made 3 stops on 4th down, and Lanning passing on those field goal attempts earlier. You wondered, would it come up huge? Here's the placement in the hold.
Snap in the hole.
Rain, by the way. The rain arrived just before the attempt.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, but the mechanics were flawless. The snap, the hold, the kick was end over end. You know, this is a pressure situation. I know that's what you prep for. He hit it clean. He just pushed it off to the right, just barely. Dan Lanning had an aggressive mindset. I don't second guess anything that he did, only because I love, as a player, you love a coach that believes in his players feed off of that aggressive nature. So they go home and they didn't find a way to do it, but I don't think you can fault him for the way he coached in this game.
Long way to go. We'll frame the Pac-12 stretch run. This could be the first of 2 collisions here between these 2 programs. And let's hear from Michael Penix. Now back to Holly.
Michael Penix, they stopped you on 4th down and goal. You were frustrated after that stop. How did you come back in and find the will to win this game?
Yeah, I just got to give credit to the man upstairs. I thank God for everything. He put me through it, allowed me to get to the spot I am today, man. And it was a tough game, but I knew we'll be able to pull it off. Just had to continue to keep executing, keep pushing. I'm just super excited.
You hear the sound, Purple Rain. It's bringing tears to your eyes, Michael. How hard has this journey been for you? You were hurt again today. How have you withstood all of it, young man?
Like I said, it's all God. I couldn't do it without him. I'm just blessed. I'm just ready to go celebrate.
I know your mom and dad couldn't be here last year. They were watching your little brother, but they are in this stadium tonight. What does that mean to you?
It means the world. I had like 20 people come, 22 people came to support me from my family. And I appreciate them. They come support all the time. The rest of Husky Nation, always supporting. And I was just so proud and just so proud of this team. And, you know, I just thank God for everything that he allowed me to have.
Go soak this in, young man. Go soak it in.
Thank you.
Man, is that a powerful, beautiful thing that the sports can provide. We try to tell you Penix's story, you know, all the injuries, all the lonely months, the rehab, the doubting about you're ever going to get a chance, and then to come, Kirk, to Washington and get a rebirth and be able to have a moment like this as the rain is falling in Seattle.
Well, That's college football right there. You know, that to see Michael Penix, the emotion, how much this means to these players in a rivalry game. And then look out at that scene. I mean, look at this. This you don't get this. I do Thursday night NFL football, and I love it. But you do not get this unless it's a Saturday in college football. Look at this, man. And Michael Penix, good for you, battling through so much adversity to have this moment for your team, being that leader, tremendous.
I agree. I haven't seen him on Monday either. There's nothing like the sport of college football. One of the great rivalries, not enough attention paid to it around the country. If you're from the West Coast, you know how precious this is for the guys in purple. May have to do it again in Vegas in the Pac-12 championship game. USC will have something to say about that. And the Huskies will visit the Coliseum in 3 weeks. They got Arizona State here at Stanford, heavily favored in both those games. And then a Penix-Caleb Williams showdown in Los Angeles. Trojans got to go to Eugene. Ducks very much alive, but this is a wonderful showcase for the Pac-12 this year.
No doubt about it. And this is as you just went through there, Chris, it's a gauntlet. It requires staying power, and we're going to be along for the ride all the way through. It's going to be fun to see where we are by the time we get to December.
Bo Nix was brilliant himself, but this quarterback duel eventually won by Michael Penix Jr. An emotional afternoon in Seattle and a classic, and the Huskies prevail 36-33. What a treat being here. A little bittersweet as they head off to the Big Ten. But we enjoyed every second of it. Bill Bennett produced the game. Jimmy Platt directed it. Thanks to our entire crew here. For Holly and Kirk, Chris Fowler saying so long. Let's go to Kevin Negandhi in our studio.
Chris, thank you so much. Look at that scene in Seattle. Just absolutely love it. As the guys talked about that, you don't get that any other day of the week. You get it on Saturday. Michael Penix Jr. celebrating. This team has won 13 straight games. They remain undefeated here. Let's go back because there are some questionable fourth down decisions and then fourth down play calls. What did you see, Dan, specifically on that Oregon fourth down decision instead of punting?
Yeah, I didn't mind that decision when it comes to being aggressive in the moment, knowing what the clock was. You've gone 3 or 4 times, if you're Oregon, to that quote-unquote sprint out where they had moved Bo Nix to his right. That time they do it to the left. I thought that was a little bit predictable as far as what we were going to go to. I think this, guys, these are 2 of the best college football teams in the country.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think any differently of either of these teams. Oregon was absolutely fantastic. Washington just made that one play between Michael Penix Jr. and Rome Odunze at the end of the game to win it. And look, for me, he's the first guy to plant that flag of Heisman moment type of feel.
Penix Jr., right?
That game-winning touchdown
He
pass.
is right now the odds-on favorite as well. But you wanted them to punt Oregon.
Well, I do, because as a defensive guy, I wanted to give my team an opportunity to defend the entire field. Instead, they get the ball at midfield. 2 plays later, it's a touchdown.
Because of plays like that.
No question. And then I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think more of Washington now.
You think higher of Washington?
I think more of Washington now, because I came into this game knowing Oregon was the more physical team. They could control the line of scrimmage. They were built by Dan Lanning like an SEC team. They dealt with the physicality of the Oregon Ducks. They dealt with the adjustment in the second half by getting more physical with their wide receivers. But in the end, Michael Penix Jr. and those 2 receivers made plays. So I learned more about Washington in this game than I thought about them before the game started. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
And for Michael Penix, Kev, you heard the guys talk about it. 2 ACLs.
Yes.
To battle back. To go through everything he's been through, to have that moment. He was almost in tears.
Yeah.
That's how much it meant to him.
And he was battling an injury during the game.
No question. That's how physical the game was. So, yeah, I learned a lot about Washington. And based on what I saw today, they can compete because of their offense with any team in America.
Yeah, there's no question.
I agree. And I loved Holly Rowe's interview with Kalen DeBoer, the head coach at Washington, who has not lost at home. When he said that Michael Penix Jr. checked to that play with Rome Odunze to win the game.
The touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He saw something at the line of scrimmage and checked to it. So I agree with you, Book, like that they matched that physicality.
Yes.
That's a big deal. But both of those teams, they don't deserve to fall in the rankings at all.
100%. I mean, it came down to a kick because everybody else leaning into that kick actually looked like it was well on its way to being good from 43 yards
The
out.
only thing I'll say about the kick, it was almost as if, and they were playing for the kick instead of settling for the kick.
Yeah. By the way, Oregon has Washington State next week and then Utah. Chris Fowler referred to